You're listening to the Oracle Talk Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sabrina Carpenter.
I'm Dasha.
Hey, I'm Billie Eilish.
What's up, guys? I'm Camila Cabello.
Hey, this is Tate McRae.
I love this station.
I love this station.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to In the Know with Jenny. Get ready to join us on a journey of discovery. Our fearless host is breaking down barriers and tackling any topic with boldness and wit. From relationships to personal growth to the latest headline, no subject is off limits. Each episode, Jenny shares her unique perspective and leads thought-provoking discussions on everything from political mayhem to pop culture and beyond. You'll be entertained, educated, and inspired with each new episode. So, grab a cup of coffee, lace up your sneakers, or just sit back and relax. It's time to get in the know every Wednesday. In the Know is more than just a radio show. It's a movement towards a better future for all. Our mission is to empower and inspire our listeners to take action. Dream big and make a difference in the world. Challenge the status quo and delve into the depths of the human mind and spirit together.
Well, hello, everyone. It's In the Know, and I'm so happy to be here because it's a great time to be alive. And we have our fantastic co-host from Chasing Prophecy, Beyond the Radar. And I'm not sure what else you got there going, Tom Callway.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. This is this is the second time In the Know, but first, just you and me. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about pop culture topics, a little change from what we usually do, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's so many things going on in the news. It's a wonderful time to be alive. So I'm glad I'm here. We're broadcasting on the Oracle Talk Radio Network. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Tom is from Philadelphia. So if you're just joining us for the first time, I'm glad to have you here. So let's get to it, Tom, because there's so much to cover.
Tons happened this week.
God. There's so much stuff going on between what happened in Iran yesterday with the bombing. Well, in Israel, Iran bombed Israel. And I'll tell you what, that was so emotional for me because, I don't know, I have a hot, soft spot for Israel. I think it's crazy that we're at this stage of the game. And then what else is going on? And then we had the debate yesterday. We'll talk about that. And then we have on Netflix, they have that monster series about the Mendez Brothers. And then we got Sean Diddy, whatever his name is.
Diddy, Sean Combs, yeah.
Yeah, we got so much going on.
And,
so
and the biggest one might be the ports too, because that affects our everyday life.
You know what? I think that's crazy because I have relatives that already got their Christmas presents because they're so worried. But it's not only going to affect that, Tom. It's going to affect the vegetables and the produce and everything. Yeah. So it's a crazy time. And I don't even know where to start because it's just like craziness, It's like, what the heck's going on? But we also have what else we have here? She has all this stuff in here from last week. Oh, geez.
Yep. We have our wonderful intern, Rebecca, behind the glass.
Yeah,
doing a great job for us.
And if you're just joining us, like I said, we're multiple platforms. Okay, let's just dive in and see where we're going to start first. Let me see what we have here. We have let's starting with the debate. What are your thoughts on the debate before we see the video?
So naturally, in history, the vice presidential debate, not every election has it. They have to agree to it. This is unsurprising because you have two new people to the game. Before they were there, not many people heard of Vance, not many people heard of Walz. So this is this is something that they want to get their face out, and they want to be safe. You know what I mean? They don't want to cause any ripples for the main candidate. So that's a little bit of the history beforehand. So now with last night, There wasn't really anything new, and I think the moderators knew that. The moderators did the best to try to make it somewhat interesting, but
Mhm.
as you can see, it wasn't a Biden versus Trump. It wasn't even a Kamala versus Trump. It was more restrained, like you were watching people at like your local PTO meeting. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
was
That's
kind
what
of
it was.
boring if you ask me. I was like,
Yeah.
but you
They
know what
didn't
I
want to
thought
get
was
into
funny
this.
though?
They didn't want to get into
So
the stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
What were you saying?
but I was just saying the deer in the headlight look on Tim Walz.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he's a short individual or not, but the camera seemed to be a little too high for him. And you're
He
right,
looks
it was a
scared.
little looking up at that there. They were sincere gentlemen, you know what I mean? They both complimented each other. They both agreed with each other on a lot of things, which is surprising, you know. But I do appreciate the humanity aspect of it that they did
They were
in that realm.
gentlemen. I like that. I
Yes.
like that part of it. And I see that JD, he focused more on Trump's foreign policy, supporting
Yes.
Israel's strike, his experience with climate issues. He was like, but I don't know, Tim. He was like, I don't know. He just seemed like he wasn't
It's
really knowledgeable.
he
Was
tried to
that
say too
me or
much
was
in
that
my
you? Did you get
no,
that
no, 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 no. He seemed like he was trying to
too hard?
too hard. I mean, look, the gubernatorial, they do have debates in gubernatorial races. They do have debates in senator races. They do have all of that, you know, just the same as they do the president. But the one difference is the people that you're doing it for is not only in one state, it's for the entire country. And
Mhm.
mention his state isn't the big, you know, it's not a small state, but it's not the biggest one either. So it looked like maybe he was overwhelmed. It looked like
Yeah.
he seemed more likely to be drawn into something he doesn't want to say than the other. So if you want to say
Yeah.
one looked more strong, I can buy that part of it. But when you have him like you know, he almost seemed a little not ready for it.
Yeah, he
I
wasn't
don't mean that
prepared.
yeah, like I don't mean that as like an idiot didn't know what he's talking about, but I think what he thought it was going to be was different than what it actually was. Um, you know, it was more see, in a debate, to me, what I look for in a debate is don't get drawn in the mud by something somebody else is saying. If you have a great point, get to your great point. Don't say how
Mhm.
they're wrong and then get to your point. Just talk about what you want to talk about. Be strong in your voice. Have conviction with what you say.
He
And
didn't show
I
that.
he didn't show that. Vance showed it a little bit more, as much as he could, you know, because it was a, you know, rather, you know, vanilla type of
Mhm.
debate. But you know, Walls was the one saying that's not true, that's not true. So if you and remember, the left had very much criticized Donald Trump for doing those same tactics.
Yeah.
Here in this debate, it was the Democrat who was doing those. That's not true. That's you know that type of stuff. So I want to see how they react to that.
Yeah, and what about the part where he asked him out flank about being in, was it Japan or do you remember
Japan,
that part? Or was it Japan or China? I can't
yeah.
remember. He just said
Sorry,
he
just cut off a
admitted
little
it.
bit there.
"Oh, I just
Yeah,
I don't know, it was just kind of slip of the tongue, I don't know what I was talking about." I mean, I just
yeah,
had a brain slide, you know, because he didn't he
yeah.
admitted it though. That was
He did admit it. And one thing is, you know, that's all going to be fact checked anyway. The internet, you can't get away with anything anymore. So at least, you know, I will give him a little credit that okay, yeah, I said it and that slipped or whatever. So
yeah,
I will be fair on that point. The other thing is, you know, when they wanted to talk to each other, it came off genuine in a way that I
yeah.
haven't seen in a lot
Yeah,
of other.
I got that thought too when we
Okay,
finished up. It seems like they seemed like they liked each other sorta, you know, like, they didn't have any that's what
no,
I
but doesn't
wanna
that
see in
remind
a
you
debate.
of ones of before, though? That reminds you of the ones of before where, "Hey, we all gotta work together. You're wrong. I
Yeah.
think you're wrong, but we're working together." I don't know. That to
It
me
that was it was
is what I
refreshing because we're so
you're right.
used to seeing, like, you know, like, cut down each other's personality, and I don't it's made it more human. I don't know, maybe it's
Well,
me.
if
I
I could
thought it
offer a
was.
theory on that,
Hmm, go ahead
um,
with your theory.
my theory on that is both of these individuals are career politicians, came up
Mhm.
through from local grassroots to state senate to governor to state senate, whatever it might be, right?
Mhm.
Representative, what have you. Um, you do have to work with people in your party. You also have to work with people you don't like. I think, whereas before, when you have people get to the top and it's just, I don't care about what you did, it's you as
Mhm.
a person. So I think, them knowing that the vice president is the deciding vote in the Senate.
Mhm.
I can drill you all I want, but if you come up with a genuinely good idea that has a lot of favor and a lot of people support it, if you're dragging this guy through the mud and then you vote for it, you look weak. But
Yeah.
if you are civil with them, not saying you're kissing their ass or anything like that, you're civil with them and they bring a good thing to you, you can say, yeah, I fixed things, but it was an overall good thing. Now you look strong because you worked with them. That's my theory about that. It's
Yeah,
the
that
career politician knowing the
there's a
game.
difference. You can see the difference between Vance he's a debater, so he actually showed a little he knew exactly what to say, and the deer in the headlights, though, that is I don't know. It's kind of
It is,
I just
and
there's so many
unfortunately, it's
memes
a
on this.
lasting image. You know.
Yeah. And there's so
Um,
many they're making fun of it so bad on social media. It's
yeah, I saw that one too, and wait till like SNL gets a hold of him. They love ripping
yeah, I think
politics,
yeah, they're probably
and it's their
yeah, but
50th season. Apparently, I heard they were going to go big for it, so we'll see.
they will, and it seems like, it's just gonna you know, that's the only one they're having too. So well, I'm pretty sure that they're
It's
not
a
gonna
shame.
have
I would like
another
to see a
debate.
second.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I know.
It's just, and they're saying there isn't a direct winner. I mean, I think that a lot of them are saying that it depends on where you're watching it from, either Fox News or CNN. Like, they're saying that Vance pretty much like, I think it was the polls were mixed. There was a mixed reaction of whether who
Yeah.
but most of them are siding more with, Vance. I don't know. Did you hear anything different?
No, I didn't hear anything different. And a lot of times those networks are going to, skew their numbers to whichever, side they're leaning.
Mhm.
But when you take it for what it is and talk about it, forget who's the Republican, forget who's the Democrat. Who answered the questions, who talked to one another, who seemed more prepared. Well, that would be Vance. Who has more experience? Well, that's probably Walls. So it does
Yeah.
depend on which way you're looking at it. But in terms of the debate for TV, you probably
Mhm.
have to give that to Vance and how he fact checked on the fly. Now, I think Vance is a very he you don't get to where you are at that age without being brilliant, like a
Yeah, and
very,
having
very
a good
smart.
grandmother.
Well, yeah, yeah, and get to that point. So maybe his capacity to handle debate is better than the other one, but
Maybe.
there was things to take away that was positive for the country, no matter who you support.
Definitely. So, Rebecca, why don't you play the Vance debate, and then go to climate?
Margaret,
She-
but
go ahead.
Senator, just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have
no,
so much to
it
get
seems
to.
like
Margaret,
those
I think it's important.
commentators
because-
were kind
Margaret,
of
the-
one-sided.
The rules were that
The
you guys weren't
economy-
going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to
Well, I'm
say
glad he
what's
called him out
actually
on it.
going on.
Yeah.
So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That
Thank
is
you,
the
Senator.
facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret.
see how they
by
shut
our
him
Thank you,
down?
Senator, for
leadership.
describing the legal
And
process.
Kamala-
We
and
have
Kamala
so much
Harris
to get
opened up
to.
that-
Look at his
Senator.
deer in his
Those
headlight. You
laws
see
have been
that?
on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
we
CBP
want to
One
have.
app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that
And they cut the mic, didn't they? There.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
Yeah, because you
we
cut
have
their
so
mics.
much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
It was
let's just say
condescending.
that's
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, if you believe that,
You can
what
talk
would you
over
want to do? The answer is that you'd want to
It seemed a little
reshore as much
condescending
American
that all he
manufacturing
did
as
was
possible.
explain the
And
legal
Look at
you
him
want to
like,
process. That's
produce
not what
as
it
much
was.
energy
If
as
you agree to
possible
not
in the
fact
United
check
States of
and
Yeah,
America
fact
he's
check,
like,
because
that's
we're the
wrong.
I don't
cleanest
know what to
economy in the
do.
entire world. What
See, he
have
doesn't seem
Kamala
like he's
Harris's
prepared.
policies actually led
No,
to?
because he's
More
staring at his
energy
opponent
production
so
in
straight.
China, more manufacturing
It's
He's trying to
overseas,
intimidate
more
him,
body
doing
probably.
business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean the amount of carbon emissions they're doing per unit of economic output. So if we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American people.
Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in. My farmers know climate change is real. They've seen
I don't know.
500-year droughts,
He just
500-year
doesn't.
floods back to back. But what they're doing is
just be how he
adapting,
looks.
and this has allowed them to tell me, look, I harvest corn, I harvest soybean, and I harvest wind. We are producing more
might
natural
be on
gas
Adderall.
and more oil at any time than we ever have. We're also producing
perky
more
and pepped
clean
up.
energy.
Maybe.
So the
His
the
pupils are
solution for
pinpoint.
us is to
Yeah,
continue
he's
to
just
move
he just
forward
seems
that
like
climate
he's
change is real. Reducing our impact is absolutely critical, but this is not a false choice. You can do that at the same time you're creating the jobs.
See, when I look at that, I want to go with Vance because I just seem like he's hiding something. I don't know. Hi, Joe.
He was speaking. What's up, Joe? He was speaking matter of factly, which is wonderful, and that's what you want. The other one was trying to convince you of something. That's the difference. If I could put it in a nutshell, what the difference that I saw was, and again, that might speak to some more people. To me, just be cool, calm, and collected, and the other guy could come across and do your mama jokes. You're still going to be focused and doing, you know what I mean? Like what you're supposed to be doing. But here's one thing. And I'm going to bring this back to the 90s. JD Vance, you know who he would remind me of?
Who?
Now, I don't know if you've watched this show, but if Al Borland had a son from Tool Time, from Home Improvement, if he had a son.
Oh, you mean his physical parents or?
Yes.
Yeah, he yeah, he does.
That's
See,
his son.
I watched the movie about hillbilly what was it? Hillbilly elegy or elegy?
Allergy, yeah.
Something like that. I see the actor that played him more. I mean, he's
Okay.
that little boy next door look. Yeah. Yeah, he's
No.
he's a good character. I mean, his love for his family. I don't know. I think did you watch it? You should watch it. I think everybody should actually watch it because
Hillbilly Allergy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it shows him as a, compassionate individual, his love for his mother, always trying to help his mom. Where'd you go?
Where'd I go?
I don't know. Where'd you go?
Am I here?
Somebody's
me?
playing. Which one of you's playing with it? That's
Yeah. What happened to me?
Which one of you kids are playing with it? I think
I
one of our
know.
interns are playing tricks on. Maybe it's Ian. Ian, what are you doing? Okay. All right. So yeah, that's
I'm gonna put that in the comments in the chat. People can look up the name of the
yes,
Hillbilly Allergy.
it's a good movie. I think everybody should watch it because especially if you're biased just because he's a Republican, you don't like him. I think if you watch this, you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
You're gonna like more. You're gonna respect him more as a human being. It's not so much as a political opponent of Camilla, whatever.
No.
Tim,
No,
baby.
and that's the thing also that we love about this network and what we want to promote is, you could think we're 100% right, you could think we're 100% wrong, but we want to hear from you. We're open up to good discussion. Look, if one political party was 1,000% right, you wouldn't have the need for the other party. So it's a good discussion to have in America because this country has been left leaning at times. This country has been right leaning at times. This country has been center at times, and it's timing. That's the best way I can put it. Timing of what is needed determines this stuff. So, I might have a feeling 20 years ago or 20 years from now that might not be what it is now, but that's why we talk about it. That's why we foster discussions here on the Oracle Talk Radio Network.
And you know what? I didn't hit the play on 360.
That's okay.
I wonder if
we're going to replay this right after. How about that?
Okay, we'll replay it from.
Do you want me to start it now?
I started, but I don't know if it's actually working because for some reason I have 2 of them up on my screen for some reason. When I hit that through, there's like there's 2 of them. One is
Let me
red, one
see.
is green. So I don't know which one it is. I don't know why that is. Who knows why that is? I don't know. Maybe there's trolls in my.
Nope,
Never
we're on.
know.
We're on. We're playing.
Okay.
Everything good.
Okay, so let's just play that one video on Israel, just because we touched upon it.
Oh yeah.
About what
Yeah.
happened yesterday, and apparently they were.
Display over Tel Aviv.
And
Goodness,
I,
you're
there was
wa-
an
talking
I
about
impact
watched.
just to
Tel
the
Aviv.
left of us here.
I
And you're
watched
talking about
this.
Tel
I
Aviv,
flipped
Jim.
through
We are
between all the
looking at
different
pictures right
ones
now.
just to see if something was
We are
different.
looking at pictures
That
of
Iron
Tel Aviv,
Dome
what
was
you're
pretty cool.
describing.
How that would fly up and knock missiles
Yeah,
out.
well, they're
That was
intercepting them
amazing.
like
Okay,
one
guys, we
after
gotta
the
get off the
other,
roof. These are coming
I
down
know.
right next
which
to
is
us
good.
here.
Please
Which
do,
is
Jim.
good.
Please do.
Oh, they had to take
Glad
cover.
that-
Coming down. One just about.
What's that?
We got to go
They
inside.
had to take cover.
Yeah, I know.
Jim, please take cover.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh
so
man.
that's a big thing. That's a big thing that's happening, and people don't realize how big of a thing it is because if you follow all the
You're right.
different books in the Bible, it's prophesized, so
Mhm.
it's really scary too. Anyways, but
All of those
yeah.
old forbidden books of the Bible, Enoch,
Mhm.
and the stuff they talk about aliens and Anunnaki, and our religious leaders were really aliens and stuff. A lot of those prophecies
I
have come
believe that.
true. And,
I
a
believe
lot of
them.
them. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be just to hop on and I'll hop off. You can't be into the paranormal without being into history. It's just
So
you have to.
definitely,
Yeah.
because it's
So
all full of it. Well, you
so
know what? The Bible is full of paranormal stuff,
yeah,
different
angels.
angels, demons, you name it, devils. So moving on to segment 2, porch
Yes.
closing. Okay, now that strike by was it 45,000 dock workers across the United States East Coast going
Yes. The
down to the Gulf Port,
International Longshoremen Association.
and it's shut down all the major ports. And I was watching that they want more money. What
Do
do
you know
you
how
think
much
about
more?
that? Do you think what's that?
Do you know how much more?
I think
I
they
know.
want like 40% more.
Almost double.
Yeah, they want that right now. Most of them are getting between 85,000 and 100. They want more than that. Now,
We all
I
want
don't
more
know
money.
how I feel about that.
Well, if I may,
Go
you're
ahead.
right.
You're more than
It's over 50,000 people, and it's not just Jersey where you see a lot of, that's like a headquarter type of thing, and that's where
Mhm.
the easiest place you can go to document it. But it is all up and down the East Coast and the Gulf Coast, and they want more wages and less automation because, as you know, and we've talked about this before, the automation could cost those jobs. They want,
Well, yeah,
and this
but
is
you know
above their
what?
head. Go
Well,
ahead.
wasn't the automation going to help them work less? I mean, they can probably still, you know what I mean? It's going to actually enhance it. Are they afraid that they're going to completely lose their jobs?
Not right now. It's not going to be right now, but it's that slope, right? It's the snowball rolling down a hill. They won't lose their
Mhm.
jobs now. This current, this current generation of workers might not even lose their job. It's about
Mhm.
rolling it forward. And to counteract that, hey, if I pay you, Jenny, to be a dock worker, and I'm paying you $80,000 a year, in 10 years, I have paid you, and that's assuming no raise. I paid you
Mhm.
$800,000, right? Close to $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, with automation, you buy it today, you don't have to pay $800,000. You can at 80,000 over 10 years. Well, if you have automation, you spend 150,000 in 10 years, it's still 150,000 plus whatever, maybe maintenance or things like that. It's an upfront cost versus that. And so that's what they don't want. They want a 77% wage increase.
That's a hell of a lot of money.
Now, what
That
is a normal yearly wage increase? Typically, it's inflation, which is right around 3%. Every place that I've worked at that offered yearly raises where, due on according to your performance, evaluation, you got 2, 3, 4, or 5. You know what I mean? So if
Mhm.
you were even a bad employee, you're still, even if you were the worst employee and you got a raise anyway, you still almost got inflation. So 77, they're asking for what, 12, 13 years at once here? Now, if they were making $40,000, I can be like, "Oh, well, yeah, they should probably be getting a lot more
Yeah,
than
they're
that."
just
But
they're just you know what else? Why is it when we're dealing with something like this, because it affects the food industry, it affects
right.
everything. Why how do you feel? Do you think they should be allowed to strike? when they're dealing with food and medical supplies? And do you think they should be allowed to strike? Should there be something in the government, like a law that prevents them from doing that?
I don't know if there should be a law. I think especially in a capitalist economy, I
Yeah,
think everybody
but
should
when you're
do
dealing
right.
with food and
But
stuff, it's
I
going to
understand
cause.
what you're saying. However, you are taking a huge risk because that machine needs to keep going. You know what I mean? That food, that dock workers, all of that has to keep going. I understand where you're saying you can't strike with food and things like that. I don't know if I would go there, but you have to know that they're going to bring somebody else in. And now you're not
Yeah,
going to,
that
now you're
definitely they
really
should be
risking your
allowed.
job. So for them to do this, and the last one was in 1977. So I want to make it clear that, that's
That's
almost
a long
50
time
years
ago.
ago. It's not like the last one was in 2012. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was a long time. So this has gotten to a point where they felt the risk is deserved. Now, I agree because now in this point, I agree with you. You shouldn't be able to strike and leave the docks abandoned because you mess up that entire system. You mess that whole thing up of ships coming
Mhm.
in, dropping off
Yeah,
it
and so
doesn't
the
have to be
other
food,
ships can't come in
and
if
they
there's
can't
just
come in,
stopping.
and now that blocks it up because you know what it does for people who aren't working there or aren't shippers?
Mm.
It's going to bring you back to the pandemic when everybody was grabbing
Yeah, I was
toilet
just gonna
paper
say
and
that when
paper
we were going
towels
crazy.
and other essential items because you don't know when the next shipment is going to be. Yeah, Joe. You
Yeah, we're
never know
good.
what the next shipment is going to be. And if that's with toilet paper, which is a non-edible, obviously non-edible, what happens
You
when
need
it's
toilet paper
fresh
unless you wanna
fruit?
go out
What
and get
happens when
some
it's beef?
leaves. And you know
Yes,
what?
what
The leaves
happens?
outside are pretty damp right now, so it's not gonna do a good job.
No, no. You can go to whatever garden cafe you want and eat what they have. That's fine. But
Yeah.
people who eat regular food, they're not going to go outside and eat forage for berries and
Forage.
mushrooms. I
Yeah,
can,
definitely.
but I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's a big it's gonna cause a lot of issues if it continues because we got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas,
A
you
big
know,
food holidays coming up. You're exactly
and
right. Big food holidays. And it's not the same day. For example, I know mushroom industry just being around here. Mushrooms is a 12-week cycle. So what you got
Mhm.
now, it's going to be 12 weeks from now. Well, what's 12 weeks? What's 8, 10, 12 weeks from today?
Exactly.
Thanksgiving, it's Christmas. It's that's when it's going to hit. It's not
And
going to
people
be
are gonna get
tomorrow.
upset when they can't get that one present for their kid that they coulda
Everything
got.
has cream of mushroom soup in it in the holidays.
You
That's
know
going to be
what?
gone.
That's true. Makes good
Cream of
stuffing.
chicken, all of the Campbell stock. They're going to go down. And here's another thing. When you talk about, I had it and then I lost it. When we were talking about um, them coming in and delivering food, you're paying here the
The
inflation that's going to
prices
be
are gonna
caused by
sky
this.
high.
Yes, you're going to pay for this, not them, not the union, not the
Mhm.
government will pay now. But how do you think the government's getting it back? They're going to be getting it back from us. So
Exactly.
you are paying for that 77% increase if they give it to them. If not, you're paying the record high temp prices that they need to have temp workers because they're not going to work for that amount of money that they were making. Why? It was
Mhm.
a strike. You're going to pay for that inflated salary anyway. So,
Mhm.
so story America, newsflash, you're paying for this and you're going to be paying for this no matter what.
Yeah, so they should
The
be
issue is what's
concerned.
the cheapest option to you?
And some of what companies are rerouting to the West Coast, but you know how much time and money that's gonna be
Fuel.
can you
That's going
imagine
to
that?
deplete fuel.
You
And
think the mail system sucks now?
yeah, the mail
It's gonna
system's
be worse.
ridiculous. I mean,
And
places within an hour are like 3 days. Like, come on.
well, I ordered a flag on, a TikTok shop that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Their complaint, I ordered it back in September. Pisses me off because I ordered it
Mhm.
in September. I still haven't gotten it. It's coming from Florida. Now their excuse is the hurricane. Don't give me that crap. It's not from the
No, yeah,
hurricane.
you can
So you think it's bad now? Well, just wait. The mail.
rerouting to so you have to go all the way down past Florida, past the Caribbean. the Panama Canal, you all remember that from history class. It's going to have to go through there, then come up the other side. Well, guess what? You're not only paying for it to get there, you also have to pay for it to go back to where it came from, too. That's going to deplete fuel. That's going to deplete resources. And again, you're going to be paying for that extra charge.
Yeah. So there's no legal actions taken yet. There's no government intervention yet. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of days. And hopefully between that, there seems to be so many different things going on at once. We had Iran and Israel. We had the ports. We have the hurricane. That's what we're going to lead right now to. Let's see. Is there any videos on
Weatherman?
Let's see, on the port. So go ahead and play the port.
Out here is
We just want them to be fair. That's it. Just want fair wages. That's it. We don't want the whole pie. We just want a piece. We want to, be fair. These companies, they're making a lot of money. And we just want a little bit of it.
the message out here is no contract, no work. There are over 200 dock workers out here picketing the line. Some of the signages out here that the dock workers are holding are phrases against automation, which has been one of their sticking points. We have reached out to U.S. Maritime Alliance for comment. They have not responded to our inquiry, but they did post a statement online. They say that both sides have moved off their previous positions. They've also offered a 50% increase in wages. They've tripled employer contributions to their retirement plans, but they maintain their language around automation.
So they're giving
Seems like that's the real
them
point.
raises. Yeah, they're just afraid of the automation.
So if you're making 80,000 and you get a 50% raise, now you're making over six figures. Well,
That's
over
a
six
lot
figures.
for not having
And triple retirement.
Yeah,
So
that's a
say
lot.
there was 2% employer match, now there's 6. Now there's vesting that comes into it because it never does that. They never give it to you all at once. They'll say, all right, well, yeah, we do that, but all of the money we put away for you, you have to be here for a certain amount of time. That's how
Yeah,
they
but
get you.
they're asking for a hell of a lot of money. And that's
It is a hell of a
and-
lot of money because this isn't just 10 people. Remember, it's 50,000, a strike of
Yeah.
50,000 people.
I know these companies are making a lot of money, but still, whatever.
I mean, look, do they think they're going to get 77%?
Probably
No.
not.
But when you make that target up there, I thought 50 would be a fair come down, right? Especially when you add some of the perks that you're going to get too. So it seems like the point really isn't the money. They want it's this automation that's going on.
Yeah, well, you can't stop that.
No, innovation is
that-
all
yeah.
around us every day.
I mean, pretty soon they're going to have, they're going to be, well, AI is everywhere too. Think about that.
It's your boyfriend.
I'm really not human. I'm really an AI.
Yeah, we both are. That's why
I
no one
got
can
my
find
hair
us.
messed up today though. But
They'll just code it different tomorrow.
yeah, they'll just do that. We're living in a freaking weird. Yeah, what's this? Joe said, "I'm 58 and working 2 jobs with no retirement." Yeah.
No, I mean, Joe,
Well,
there's
it's
a lot
not
of
your
people in that
fault.
boat. There's a ton of people in
No.
that boat. Work until my father was that way. You're going to be working every day till you die anyway, so you might as well just
Yeah,
spend
you
what you
have
got.
either that or you're going to live in a poorhouse and depend on government assistance, which all the left ones, they want you
does
to just write a check out. Here, John, here's this. You can go buy groceries. Here, John, here, pay for your utilities. Hey, John, here, have this. Your car payment. That's going to be another thing. They're going to be wanting to give out cars to people. That's what they want.
My first car payment was like $200 and some a month.
Mine was
That's gone.
$135. It was a Camaro, yellow Camaro, 1978.
You had a Camaro?
I had a
Oh,
Camaro.
with the Camaro ripping around in
Yeah,
the 80s, 90s.
365 headers. No.
Oh man, Jenny
I
Gearhead.
did have a
Nicasio.
Camaro. I did have it was yellow, and you know what? Don't ever get a yellow car because it attracts bees. Yellow attracts bees.
Yellow attracts bees. How about
Yes, it
that?
does. Yeah, it does.
You don't
So-
see too many yellows though anymore, do you? Out there.
No, you don't. That was the time. That was the 70s. It was 1970. I had a 1978. Yeah, it was a pretty cool
Love that.
car.
It does sound
So
like a
we're
cool
go-
car.
It was a cool car until my friend I'll never
Oh, did
forget
you
her.
ruin it?
My friend, what was her name? I can't remember her name. She broke a bottle of
Yeah.
tequila in the back seat of my car.
That was
Could
the end
not
of the
get that
car.
smell out.
Not
It
tequila.
not tequila. Went to
Just
the
vodka,
drive-in.
maybe.
Lynn
Yeah.
Hochstetter. I remember her name. Lynn Hochstetter was working at a pizza joint, and she was the she was the owner's daughter. She was bad. She was bad news. And we went to the drive-in with a bunch of us. Yeah, she got me in more trouble. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the impact on the hurricane. And the situation has gotten worse. It seems like Biden just went there today. Was it today he went there? And he
Today,
said
Wednesday.
send
Yeah,
relief,
Wednesday.
but
Yeah,
you
today's
know
Wednesday,
what?
right?
At first he said he wasn't going to send any. He said there was no money. No, I guess he changed his mind. And it has devastated a lot of the southeastern United States, particularly Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, over the last,
Tennessee.
was it?
Yeah.
There's like 3.7 million people without power still. It's caused
Yeah.
a lot of, it was the flooding that killed the people.
It is. And, you know, our very own hosts, Tyler and Ian from Nerd Informer, which you can catch on Wednesday nights, they were in the path. They live in Southwest Florida. So they were in the path for a little bit. Yeah, she might be. She might be. Jenny might be. She's Marissa Tomei, really. But no, they were in
You
the
know
path
what?
for a little
Somebody
bit.
said that too once before.
To you?
Yeah, I said it looked like Marissa Tomei. I don't know.
Kinda.
Anyways, get back to the storms. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
So
interrupted you.
they're fine. Everything's good with them. But no, I went to a wedding actually right in the center of this years ago in Asheville, North Carolina, and to see how beautiful that place was, which it is. It's in the mountains and it's not coastal. So everybody has a general graphic idea. Coastal. It was more in the mountains near the Tennessee border. And I got to tell you, what this really shines a light on is irrigation techniques or
Really?
drainage, I should say,
What? Don't
because
they have enough drainage? Because that's why they're all flooded, or what?
it wasn't properly drained. No, so I'll say this, and I can't speak for every place, but where I live and being that involved in agriculture years ago with the mushroom industry, they took irrigation and drainage and wastewater runoff to the nth degree. They always erred on the side of drainage where every hill needs to be collected and then run into the proper channels, right? Or fed into an underground like aqueduct or wherever it needs to go. Not every place has that importance on it. And you can see why. Now, they might not have this for another 100 years. And some people don't plan for this type of stuff every 100 years. But when you see towns having, you know, and residential areas where it's coming in through their first floor and they got to go up to the second floor, that's not a normal thing. That needs to be accounted for and planned for with emergency pumps, emergency, drainage canals, different things like that. If they couldn't do it, they shouldn't have built those houses there. And I know it's incredibly hindsight in 2020, but when you look at some of the video and the damage there, these aren't just like trailer parks. These are residential
No, those are
homes.
beautiful homes.
Yes.
And I do think we have a couple. Do we have a couple or one video on that?
See weatherman.
She is still screaming, but we got you. We got you. 911, they're coming. You're good. You're good. Oh, man, it's a situation. We will get back to you in a little bit. I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out a little bit more, you guys. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right, Bob. There's Bob Van Gillen. We were with Bob just a little while ago, and he said, hold on, I'm going to go help that lady in that car. And he joins us right now from one of the areas around Atlanta. Bob, tell us, when we saw you last, there was a lady in that white car behind you, and we could hear her screaming her head off during your live shot. And eventually you said, I've called 911, but the water was rising, and you had to do something. So pick up the story.
Steve, I know that we're swamped here with all the 911 calls because there's so many high water rescues that we've already documented so far. And call 911 in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you could hear her screaming, right? You could hear it during my live shot, real loud. And that's her car right there. Windshield wipers are still on. So I just said, you know what? I realize I'm with you guys. I'm on the air, but I can't.
Wow.
Now,
That's amazing.
was that recent or was that like a couple of days ago? I don't know. I don't know if that's recent or not.
From the actual live footage, it looked like from Monday night. I mean, Sunday
Okay,
night.
because they're not it's still flooding. There's a lot of different areas that are still flooded. But I don't think. Okay, that was from this week. Okay. Yeah, I saw the news this morning. I just saw that the aftermath is what's really a lot of work to clean up. And
Yeah.
not
Have you
only
seen
did
some
I
of the
think there
pictures?
there's like 120 people have died
Yeah.
because of the flooding, not from the hurricane, the wind. It was from the flooding, which is really scary. And I know this happened in my area probably I'd say about 15, 20 years ago. Allegheny River Boulevard was flooded and killed a whole family, a whole car full of people. And you never think that would happen because of a little bit of rain. So could you imagine all the rain they've had and all the flooding? So that's scary. The water's what scares me, not so much as the wind. But
It's so true because what does it take? Like it takes like 4 inches of running water to knock a person down, and like a foot of running water to take a car down, or to move a car off its wheels. Something that it's ridiculous, but that's exactly what it is, because you think, okay, it's just rain, but you have to think about the entire area. Now hurricanes are huge, so the entire area of rain, and when you're in the mountains, rain goes down. It's gravity. It's going to keep coming down, and then pile up, and then eventually force its way out of whatever embankment it has. In your case, it was the Allegheny River. So eventually, once it gets over that point, there's nothing stopping it. The best militaries in the world can't stop Mother Nature. Come on. So this is just a force on, beyond everything. And that 120 number, as awful as it is, and as much as I hoped it would stay at 120, it's not. And there's so many. There's thousands, and it might even be tens of thousands now, of people who are missing.
They're struggling. They're not only missing. Their pets are gone. They're struggling without the power. Those supplies.
It's still hot in some of those areas.
Yeah, and the roads are still closed. And this is going across. Oh my God, from Florida all the way up to the Carolinas. So the emergency teams they're struggling. And you know what? The people were saying that people want to go and help, and then the authorities are saying, no, don't come. No.
Whoa, why?
Because they said that it'll cause too many, people from having issues because of the road closure. And I'm like, that is the stupidest thing I ever heard, when they say they want to deliver aid, but they're saying, no, don't come just yet. So what are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's really odd, and I don't like that one bit. Anybody in a position of power saying no, don't come to an area. You had a damn cameraman.
I know.
I'm sorry, an anchor or a reporter walk out of his live shot to go help somebody. It's in our nature. It's in our DNA. It's the most basic human thing, is to help somebody else who's genuinely needing it. And to turn around and say, don't do it, because you're only going to cause more problems. But then on the other hand, beg for manpower.
Yeah, it's like you don't know why. What are they waiting for it to get worse than it is? But if you want to donate money, you can go to SamaritansPurse.org, because I think those are the most reliable. I mean, I've seen what Billy Graham, his junior, has done with that, and I know people involved in that actually go help. So you can share donations, you can share money donations, food supplies, medical supplies, and it's a good charitable organization. I'd rather have them, donate.
You want to back somebody you believe in, or
the Red Cross. Sometimes I don't know, but I just hope things calm down, and my prayers go to all those people who are struggling right now with that.
Absolutely.
But moving on to I think this is probably our last segment. Well, we're going to do I don't know if we should do Diddy first. It's up to you. Let's see what we have here. The updates. Let me see if we should do Mendez. I like the Mendez.
Yeah, let's go with them.
Okay. So, have you seen the document? I mean, I saw the documentary on Netflix, but have you seen the new series, Monster?
I have not seen Monster yet. I have seen the documentaries. I've watched this. This is right in my wheelhouse, time-wise when this was happening. And you know, the whole story is fascinating because this wasn't like a one year thing as a trial is. This was over several years. And you know, their father, Jose, was a really powerful man in Hollywood, a really powerful man in Hollywood, and a really smart businessman. Let's put this in perspective. We know the inflation is ungodly, right? Well, back in 1990, they lived in a $4 million house, which today's standards would be about a $7-8 million house. The mother was a typical rich mom, you know what I mean, where nothing, don't bother me, you know, we have everything we need, just deal with whatever pain you have type of thing. In my opinion, Jenny, I think everything that those boys said is true. I think there was some molestation, rape even going on in that household. All the signs point to it to me, that this was a snapped moment and oh, what did I do? You know what I mean? That's the feeling I get from everything. How do you see this? How do you see that event? Do you think it was premeditated murder or they snapped?
Either way, they deserved it. Is why the parents, if they were abusing those kids, they needed to do. He needed, even if it was premeditated. What were they supposed to do? Go to the authorities, and are they going to? Since he was such a powerful man, do you really think that they were going to listen to him back then? Maybe now, yeah, but not 30 years ago. You didn't even hear stuff
absolutely
like
not.
that.
Yeah,
So
there were so many rapists and even without child molestation, you know, just two people, you know what I mean? There was so
this
many
is
that got
just the
swept under the rug
beginning.
because I mean, it's only 30 years ago, 20 some years ago, but they did not have the technology they have now, and they didn't have the importance on it, which is a shame that the state failed both those boys.
Yes, it's a shame that everybody failed those two boys, and I want them to be released. But the only thing I think was it premeditated? Maybe. Did they deserve? Yes, they did deserve it. Did they snap? Yeah, they probably did snap. They probably snapped a long time ago before they did that to their family. And to think to hurt innocent children like that, and this just goes back to Hollywood. What's going on right now with Epstein's Island? What's the other guy, Harry Weinstein? There's a whole list of people. Diddy, they're all connected, and these people need to go down. Unfortunately, those two kids, Lyle and Eric, were victims, just like Dustin Bieber's a victim, and all those people that Diddy did what he did to those people. That's funny. Diddy did to those people. It really pisses me off because Hollywood can get away with anything. All the rich people. There's so many rumors circulating, like even Oprah Winfrey going back to Maui, going back to Africa. There's so much stuff out there, and it all goes back to the rich, the Hollywood
elite.
Elite. And it goes back to the Rothschilds and George Soros. They're all connected. And some of the Democrats, going back to Clinton, these people are evil. I do think they need to pay. I wish that Lyle and Eric gets out, but the only thing I'm concerned about, Tom, is if they need help. How are they going to be in society? Will they do this to somebody else? Because they said once you are abused, most of the time you go in most of the people abuse other people, that if you've been abused. That's the only thing that concerns me. What are your thoughts on that?
I doubt they would get out without just here you go for free release. They would probably have to do some sort of halfway house procedure, reintegration with society. I don't know if they have access to the funds of their parents or anything like that anymore. I
Yeah.
don't know how that felt, but if they got some of that and they are able to not work and they're able to live on their own, they're going to have their circuit. They're going to be on the circuit. They're going to be doing their own Netflix interview. They're going to be doing their own Prime, Max, CNN, Fox News. They're going to be all over the place. So money might be not an issue there. So the court might say, you need to do this mandatory program in order to mitigate all of that for years. So even if they're out of jail, I still think they're going to be under some sort of supervised program from the state or prosecutors or even federal if they want to go that way. Because remember, this could have been a death penalty, but it wasn't. So
Well, what kills me, Tom, not to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
I know
no,
some
go
people
ahead.
personally in my sphere who committed murder that were released on insanity charges. How come they weren't given that? Did they? I don't recall that. Why weren't, because they were what were they? Early adults when this happened? How old were they? 15, 16? What were their ages when they actually did
No, they were adults. I want to
They were
say they were
adults.
like 19 and 18 or 20 and 18, something like that.
Okay. Did they try to plead insanity? I don't have to.
No, they didn't. They
Why?
put because their attorney stacked their chips on a different cart. They put their chips on a different table. They put it on they made me do it instead of I lost my mind. Go back and listen to the test. It's
Well, yeah,
all over
they.
Facebook.
Yeah,
They said, I
I'm
don't remember what happened. I started shooting. These boys
so they lost their
did
mind, but why
not.
didn't I
It's a
don't know.
blackout. Every
They
traumatic
said they did
experience,
lose
whether
their
it's
mind,
physical
so
or
they should have
emotional,
been given the
blackout.
opportunity. They had lousy attorneys or what? I
They
remember
probably
all
had
this,
good
but I
attorneys for the money, but I think that they went about they saw their outline and their case and how we're going to get ahead. I think it was misguided from the beginning.
yeah, it was misguided. So I did see on TikTok, we're gonna see a couple of these videos
Sure.
that there is some kind of thing going on that they might be released in November. Now I don't know if that's parole. Why? I don't know. Are
Yeah,
they up for
yeah. So,
parole?
if they have the possibility of parole, I think that can kick in after you do 3/4 of your sentence, and
Because
then
they
you
are,
can
yeah, pretty much.
because it is 30 years about, right?
Yeah. Well, the one's married. She fell in love with some woman wrote to them. I
Well, how's
forget
that
which
going
one
to
it
end
was.
up? Here I am now.
I don't know. We'll see. But go ahead and Rebecca, if you can pay
Deliberation,
No, the
2
other one.
juries returned,
what happened?
and tonight, nothing's changed.
I heard from the back
And didn't
row
know
that this
anything.
movie would convict them. That's what I heard from the back row.
Not for me.
They quickly made the transition from television fiction to the painful reality
against
they
girls here.
experienced.
What's interesting here is
video
you've all seen
Yeah,
the same
this is-
movie, and I
this
think
is
you have
live.
perhaps a different
from
perception
a
of the
documentary.
movie,
Yeah.
which mirrors what happened in the courtroom.
When you don't have evidence that states something has occurred, I just don't know how people believe that it occurred.
When you want to believe something bad enough, you'll believe it. The evidence is absolutely overwhelming that, what it was premeditated, cold-blooded, malicious, thought-out murder.
That's ridiculous.
But the women sitting behind you,
But I think the women felt sorry for him. I think
No,
I think it was
women
almost,
understood
it
the law.
almost became like a love fest. Almost.
Oh, please.
After listening to them argue, their inability to reach a verdict at the trial seemed less astonishing than inevitable. They've paid for their lack of consensus. They've found friends unwilling to understand their ordeal, and strangers likely to see them as fools.
Yeah.
So they
So-
don't believe him.
So America, this was from Fox. I want to say Fox LA, where you saw that they were in this like black room and there was a TV in front of them. In between the first trial, which was a mistrial thrown out because the jury was deadlocked, as you can see why. And then before the conviction in 96, a movie came out about the whole crime, and it was well done. It was called Honor Thy Father and Mother. So they showed the jury that movie and then asked them questions after. That was the asking of the questions after. And as you can see why, for whatever reason, the guys are saying the girls had a love fest. You heard him say love fest with the Mendez brothers. And some of the guys were saying, I don't see any evidence. The other one says, I see 100%. There's no other way it could be evidence. It's just when you have a jury of 12 peers, if you get it wrong, you're going to have 12 different stories. And they got they got it thrown out. It was a mistrial.
I don't know.
Then here you go, Jenny. Then they come back and retry him again years later. Not the next day, not immediately. 1996 from 92. And I have, I think there's some other things at play here. You know who Gil Garcetti is, right? The DA from LA, from all of those most famous crimes in 90, Gil Garcetti. He's the DA. He lost the Snoop Dogg murder trial, where apparently his bodyguard shot somebody in the back running away, and they said it was self-defense, even though it was in the back. He lost the OJ trial, which overwhelming, damning evidence that OJ did it. He lost that case. He lost this first trial. If it's not a conviction, the DA loses. In any other way, that's how it is. He needed this win. If Jose has that much ties to Hollywood and that much power, the DA needs this to happen. I wonder how many resources. Not to mention, this is the most interesting thing of all, Jenny. You saw cameras in all of the courtrooms and all of that. That was all the first trial. When they had the second trial and it came time for convictions, no cameras were allowed in there. What do you think of that? Those boys were screwed.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they get off, because
me too.
if the abuse, I've listened to all the tapes, and I'm going to start watching I haven't watched the series. I just downloaded it, so I'm going to watch that. I'm anxious. I heard that it was the maker of American Horror Story, and there was an actress that was on Big Love. I forget her name, but she was one of the characters there. The actor, that one, a Spanish actor that plays, I forget his name. You know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of the real Eric and Lau are really upset about this, because it's portraying them to be monsters, just like the title. And they're not the monsters. It was the father and the mother that was the monsters. So they're getting a lot of backlash from that Netflix. So what they're doing is Netflix is redoing. It's going to be a more, is it going to be a real life interviews with the boys? So I'm anxious to see what happens with that.
I'm going to be glued to that too.
Yeah. So I'm going to start watching that.
Yeah.
Because right now, I'm watching a series from Showtime. It's Yellow Jackets, and I put off watching that, but I have to finish that one before I actually dive into this one, because I feel bad, because I remember the 90s. I had 2 kids, but I don't remember. I remember the case, but I think, was it the same time as OJ? I can't remember if it was around the same time as OJ.
No, it enveloped it. So it was Menendez, OJ, then Menendez.
Okay, because I don't remember what happened to them.
Cable?
I remember, yeah, I did. I just don't. I remember seeing it, but I really wasn't into it. Like, I didn't know they were abused by their. When I thought they were being abused, I thought, oh, maybe the parents beat them. I never knew it went to that extent. I mean, some of the sick things that this father did to those kids, it's gross. I mean, it's disgusting. That guy deserved to die. I'm sorry. He deserved to die. What he did to that, it's horrible. And so the boy started doing, the older brother started doing it to the younger brother. That's what I was a little bit worried about. Like, what if they get out?
I understand. Yeah.
That's what I worry, that if they don't have the correct, maybe they're getting that now in prison, which I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of scary. But we're coming to the close of the show. Did we get all the videos, I think? I don't remember. Let's see. I got that senior moments like every day of the week. This will be, if you see this later today, please like and share it. I know this is during the day. We don't have too many listeners during the day. I could have done it at night, but I have too many things at night I have to do.
Yes.
Other things we're doing. And tomorrow, Tom, we got a good show. Were we doing all the episodes, the 3 or just the 1? We're doing all 3 of them?
Yeah, let's do all 3.
Okay, because I've been watching. I mean, taking notes. It's bringing
Very
me back to the 90s too. So
Yeah.
so we're talking about the X-Files.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the X-Files. And so, yeah, be sure to check in Oracle Talk Radio Network later tonight, starting at 5. We have America Disclosure Uncensored with Michael Anthony starting at 5 o'clock on the station. He's coming over to the network. Very good, very smart man. So get introduced to him and his show at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we have the Frightening Floyds podcast, and they will talk with author Bobby Shupak. He's the president of Nightmare Press, so they'll be discussing writing, publishing, and whatever else comes to mind. And Bobby is working on a new novel, so tune in to hear more about that. You have Nerd Informer and Beyond the Radars, episode 2 of our 50 and 50. We have 12 more states coming up on our little cross-country trip on our countdown to Halloween. And Mystic Whispers tonight, artist Timothy Wayne Williams. He has wonderful paintings, including a Hidden Bigfoot series. Now, I checked this out, Jenny. He's a very talented painter. When I thought Hidden Bigfoot, I thought it might be hokey or gimmicky. No, it's actually, he does really good, nice paintings. It's wonderful.
Good.
And I want to also give a shout out to Stay Off My Lawn. There's been a lot of news happening over the last week, and they're going to have a double header tomorrow, Thursday.
Good.
They're going to have 2 episodes of Stay Off My Lawn, one at 5, one at 6:30, which will immediately be before us at Chasing Prophecy at 8.
Good.
A lot of news that we're going to get into, a lot of good topics, wonderful gentlemen. So Stay Off My Lawn tomorrow at 5 and 6:30 before us at 8 o'clock.
Sounds great. And I think we should do something with all the hosts coming up on election night.
I thought about that too. I wanted to pick your brain about that, to have open airspace if people wanted to get on and hop on and have like a, maybe not all day, but as the polls start to close, like 7 to midnight or something,
Yeah,
and have an
definitely.
open space where people can hop on. We can talk about issues. I mean, you're in Pittsburgh, I'm Philadelphia. We got Georgia, we got Montana, we got Kentucky, we got Florida. We got the center of the state. We got New Hampshire. We got all over the United States. California with how can I forget Nicole? So
Most definitely.
I think it should just be open. People can hop in and out, talk about whatever they want. I'll be on. I'll have the news on here, talk about different things I'm seeing. It should be a good time. Can you believe it's just about a month away?
I can't believe it, and I'm really I'm a little nervous.
Well,
it's
always nerve-wracking.
2016, when Donald Trump won, I was sick with some kind of a stomach issue. I ate quinoa. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I didn't know, if you do not clean quinoa, the manufacturer doesn't clean it really good. There's toxins that stay on it. It can give you severe abdominal pain.
Oh,
just
no.
pain.
That's what you
It was
have?
just pain. It was just, I thought I was dying. But this in 2020, I don't even remember it. Like, was it 2020?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We
I think because I was so upset. I don't know. I think I was depressed for like a month, but I don't remember it. But anyways,
I don't either. But tune into us while you're playing all your different holiday or election night parties and things, America. Tune into us. We'll be going over everything, all the breaking news, everything that's happening. I think it'll be fun. And let's go ahead and start your election kickoff drinking game, everybody. You and a friend. If a state's blue, you drink the number of electoral votes, and then the other one will be red. And if that state is red, you drink the number of electoral votes.
oh goodness gracious. Okay.
Get sauced,
Okie
America
dokie.
2024.
Alrighty, guys. I got